All right. Well, hello there. This is the fall beat meeting of 3162 and 3164. We've combined two beats in this session, so we can answer questions from both the beats. It's 3164 and 3162 are on the south side of Mount Prospect. They extend from below just the tracks and all the way to I-90 and west of Linneman Road at 3162. So with that, we're going to start. We have several officers here that would like to introduce themselves and then present on a topic that is actually pertinent to both 3162 and 3164. It's sort of tis the season on what is occurring here in Mount Prospect. So I think you'll find what we're going to be sharing very beneficial to your quality of life while you're day-to-day going around in Mount Prospect. So with that, I'll turn it over to Officer Melendez and Officer Martinez. They are the two panelists you can see now virtually, and they have topics that are similar. They both express interest in something that's been occurring recently with quite a lot of frequency, are catalytic converter thefts. So I'm sure everyone will find this interesting and a way that you can kind of keep becoming a victim of one of these awful crimes. So with that, Officer Melendez and Officer Martinez, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sergeant. My name is Officer Melendez. I've been with Mount Prospect for 25 years, primarily, believe it or not, in B3162 for 20 plus years of that career. So speaking about catalytic converters and the thefts that have been going on, I'm just going to give you like a general overview of what a catalytic converter is and what it does. And I'm going to let my partner, Officer Martinez, talk to you about how these crews are going out there and actually stealing them from the cars. So I wasn't really too familiar about what a catalytic converter was. All I knew was that it was in the car and that it did something. But apparently the catalytic converter takes all the poison gases and stuff from your car that's produced by the engine, and it converts it into less poisonous compounds. The catalytic converter has like a honeycomb in the center of it that has three precious metals that I guess neutralize some of these toxic fumes and materials and whatnot. Apparently one of the precious metals, it's called rhodium, has apparently skyrocketed in cost by like over 32 times. So you're looking at 1 ounce of this rhodium precious metal is going for like over $30,000, which makes it more expensive than even gold at this moment. So this is why all these people, bad guys, are going out there and stealing these things from people's cars, because of the great increase in the price for this precious metal that's in this catalytic converter. So with that, I'll turn it over to my partner Miguel, and he'll give you a rundown of how they actually steal these things from your cars.
All right, thanks, Jose. Yeah, just kind of like my partner Jose was saying, there's several crews throughout the Chicagoland area that, and it could be anywhere from 2 to 3 persons that are mostly operating at nighttime, in the dark, and for the most part, they target certain vehicles. For some reason, I kind of have an idea why they target the Toyota Prius. I know it's a very green vehicle and it's very ecological. But from what I understand, the catalytic converter in that vehicle is actually worth a lot of money because there's a lot of Toyota Priuses on the road now, and that catalytic converter doesn't get used as much as some of the other vehicles. Therefore, it's in better condition. As far as any other vehicles that are targeted, mostly are basically, it looks like from my list here, mostly Toyotas, the 4Runners, Tacomas, the Tundras, and maybe some Lexus SUVs. And it's not necessarily the high-end cars. It's just a matter of, you know, these guys could be getting a list from somebody, probably the people they sell the precious metals to, and they say, go out and find these cars. We need some cats off of these cars. And, you know, a day or two later, they return with a bunch of catalytic converters. Now, as far as the actual theft of the catalytic converter, it doesn't take much to remove it from a vehicle. Most of the time, from what I understand, it's anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. Again, they operate at nighttime, and they jack up the car, and all it takes is two cuts, one at the beginning of the catalytic converter and one at the end. This is generally done with a battery-operated Sawzall or some type of rotary tool. And then obviously once they get the cat off the vehicle, excuse me, they're out of there. They're not sticking around. Usually we don't get multiple cars that have been in one particular area that have catalytic converters stolen. Usually they get what they need and they're out of there. They move on to another area, obviously to avoid detection. There are some ways to prevent, the theft of your catalytic converter. There's some aftermarket products you can buy. All you have to do is just Google them. I'm not gonna list any. I really can't recommend any because I've never used them. But you can just Google them if you own any of the vehicles as previously mentioned. Google them, and then these parts are likely, if you're handy on cars, you can probably try to install them yourself, or just take it to a reputable muffler shop, and they should be able to install them for you. They range anywhere from $100 to $500, to prevent the theft of your catalytic converter. I did want to mention, I know Jose kind of touched on it. So the precious metals that they're taking out of these cats are platinum, palladium, and as Jose mentioned, rhodium. And there's only three companies, I guess you want to call them, in the area, in the Chicagoland area, that buy these metals. I don't know if they're required to register whenever they buy from anybody, kind of like a pawn shop. I know pawn shops, whenever someone sells something to them, they have to fill out a form and usually require some kind of government ID. I don't know if that's a requirement for them. Either way, it's hard to trace back the catalytic converters. They're generally not serialized. And that's just a common knowledge. It's not any privileged information. That about does it for me. Another thing you can easily do just to prevent the theft of your catalytic converter is just park it near plenty of lighting. If you're a renter and your parking lot doesn't have a lot of lighting, let the management know. Tell them you'd like more lighting in the parking lot. If you're a homeowner, just park it in the garage. It's just simple stuff like that. Turn on your exterior lights. If you have motion detector lights, those are great. Or if you want to go a little extra, I mean, you can always get a car alarm, a motion car alarm. I'm sure they're still around. I know there's those ones that you used to approach the vehicle, and if you get it within a certain number of feet, it starts going off. So that's all I have for you. With that, I'll turn it over to Sergeant Philippek.
Yes, thank you, Officer Melendez and Officer Martinez. Some great information there. And one of the things that I would like to express, if you do happen to come across somebody who is interested in your catalytic converter and you find them under your car, please do not approach them or do not try to stop them from committing this crime. Call 911 and let the police handle this, because one thing that we found is they do not like to be confronted, just as any criminal does not want to be confronted. So let the police, let us as the Mount Prospect Police do our job and respond, because it's not worth getting into any trouble from any of our citizens to get in any danger for something that it can be replaced. So again, if you come across somebody, you hear the sound of somebody pulling a catalytic converter off a car, call 911 and let the police respond, because that is what our job is, and that's what we're paid to do. So thank you guys. I appreciate the information on that, and we're going to move on to another officer. This is Officer Spar. He's with us today in person. He is on the afternoon watch. He's going to talk about something that is very fond to his heart, some pet animal safety and other concerns during this, and not necessarily today with the 60s, but during the colder weather. So Officer Spar, come on down.
Hi, I'm Officer Spar. I'm currently assigned to beat 3162. At the end of this month, I will be in my, have 22 years with the department under my belt here. So my beat is primarily, a lot of it is apartments and multiple dwelling, units. And one thing that is common is a lot of people have dogs, and there's a lot of dogs in a concentrated area that can present some problems. And the things we run into a lot are dogs off leash, which can of course result in dogs getting in a fight, and not everyone likes dogs. Some are afraid of dogs. So we encounter this a lot. Keep your dogs on a leash. Also picking up after your dogs. I don't know a single person that enjoys stepping in dog poop. So it's just a quality of life thing and a respect thing to clean up after your dogs. And this goes for obviously the whole town, but it is a local ordinance, and it is more prevalent in our condominium and apartment complexes with so many dogs in a small area. So those are two kind of ordinance violations that we routinely encounter. The thing is, with the colder weather approaching, not necessarily today, but coming up here shortly, is the animal cruelty laws and animal neglect laws surrounding leaving a dog outside. Dogs like to be outside. We know that. A lot of us have fenced in yards and what have you. However, leaving your dog outside in the sub-zero or dangerous weather, and this goes for hot weather too, it is a crime. And you have to, the dog has to have access to a shelter from the elements, has to have access to fresh, clean water, and those types of things. So those are two things that we do encounter, the latter being, especially in the colder weather. Just be mindful that they both are crimes. The first things I talked about are a local ordinance violation. The other second I talked about is an actual, it's a crime. So it's something you can be arrested for. So anybody have any questions? Okay, thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you, Officer Spar. Yes. We're going to move on. We do have Officer Andy Lee in the room today. Officer Lee is assigned to the midnight watch from 11 o'clock till 7 in the morning. So one of the things that we do come across frequently during those times, more towards the later portion of that watch, is burglaries and ruse burglaries during the daytime, but midnight watch has the burglaries. And he's going to talk about that and how you can prevent that and what to look for. So Officer Lee, take it away.
Hey everybody, like Sergeant said here, I'm Officer Lee. I'm currently assigned at B3164. I've been in the department a little under 4 years. Like I said, I'm assigned to the A watch or midnight watch, so hopefully you don't see me very often. So today I'm going to talk to you about ruse burglaries, which is a little more prevalent in 3164 as it is mostly residential housing. Basically what a ruse burglary is kind of exactly what it sounds. Somebody will approach you, a non-legitimate business at your home, usually unannounced. Common example is I'm a contractor. I was working down the street. I have extra supplies. I saw that your porch needs repair, your roof needs repair, whatever it is. And we'll try to sell you on a fake bill of goods that they are going to actually help you out and give you a deal, or they in some cases will actually invite you out of the house. Hey, can you come in the backyard with me? I want to see, hey, we need to look at your water meter. I saw some damage on your roof, things like that. And they'll actually have a partner sneak into your house and take you for everything you're worth, or at least anything that's not nailed down. So basically what we're trying to say here is do not trust somebody knocks on your door asking you to, provide them some business. Legitimate companies do not do that. So legitimate companies do not do handshake deals. Legitimate companies do not show up unannounced. Legitimate companies do not have cards. You don't have a website to give you. They're not in the Better Business Bureau, things like that. So I'm not going to take up too much of your time. A lot of it's common sense, but you'd be surprised how many people get fooled by these things. These people are professional con artists, and they can talk their way into your house. So if you do not set up an appointment with anybody for any sort of contract work, do not let them in your house. Do not let them leave. Do not let them draw you out of their house, or your house rather, and do not let them bring any supplies to your house and things like that. So, are there any questions? Nope. All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Officer Lee. And just from personal experience, I know I was approached on 2 occasions by ruse burglars. One thing that in my specific instance was a house for sale down the street. This person said that they recently purchased that house and they wanted to see how our backyards compared. Knowing what I know and hearing Officer Lee's presentation on several occasions in our career, we were familiar with that. I was able to, tell them to go away and call 911 accordingly. But again, these people are, like Officer Lee said, very professional con artists, very convincing. They'll thrive and they'll work on your sympathy or your kindness to be a good neighbor. So sometimes that goes against, the Mount Prospect way of life, or friendliness is a way of life. We need to keep it in the back of our mind that not all the people that come to our community are looking to help us. So those are just a few things to keep in mind when answering the door. And if somebody is a little bit too forceful, it's probably for a reason that isn't beneficial to you. Moving on, we have Officer Keese. She paid us a visit today. She is what she said earlier, a common visitor to these beat meetings. She doesn't necessarily have something to present today, but she just wants to introduce herself. So she's a face that you would recognize in the community. So Officer Keese, come on down.
Hello, Officer Keese. I have been on the police department for 7 years this December. I currently work afternoon shift and I am with Beat 3164. So like Officer Lee said, it's mainly residential there. And these scams, the burglaries and things like that are very common. It's something we deal with every year. So I think they gave out a lot of good tips. The only thing I'll add is camera systems, security systems. That's one of the best things for stuff like this, prevention and just getting video of the crime. So if you don't have security system, I would highly recommend it. There's plenty of options out there. But if you need recommendations or something like that, of course, you ask around family, friends, police. We're happy to give you some recommendations. So.
Thank you, Officer Keese. Well, that pretty much wraps up all the presentations we have today. I'm looking in our question section, and it really doesn't have anything recently that any questions. So now would be the time to type those questions and ask them. But in the meantime, I just want to remind everyone, the Mount Prospect Police Department has moved from our old station from downtown at 112 East Northwest Highway to 911 East Kensington Road. So again, that's 911 East Kensington Road. If you do have any business that you need to conduct in person, that's our new location. So it's just, I say, east of the Home Depot in Ranhurst. Kensington there, you can get in off of Kensington. An entrance was created, so it makes it more convenient rather than having to go through the business center to get here. But any business that needs to be conducted in person needs to be conducted at the new station. The old station is it's non-functioning for police. It's a non-functioning police facility at this time. That's pretty much all we have today. I'd like to thank, we have, it looks like 11 attendees right now that came out, and we appreciate people attending. I know this is a 6 o'clock is a rough time for people to attend, so we appreciate everyone being here today and sharing some time with us. It's good to see some familiar faces here at the police department. We are shift workers here, so seeing my partners that I haven't seen, day to day, it's nice to get into a community forum here and talk with and share stories with the police officers that we work with. So with that, if there are no more questions, actually, it looks like we might just have one here. This one's a thanks and happy holidays. I appreciate it. Thank you. And I think that's we have reports of, there's a question about reports of somebody trying to get into houses. Again, not specifically, I'm not sure exactly what you were referring to, but if anybody comes to your house and tries to get into your house, please do call 911. Normally, what people will look for is a vacant house, but if you are home and somebody's trying to enter your home, please call 911. Again, like I said, for the catalytic converters thefts, please do not confront anybody. Get into a safe spot and call 911 so we can respond. We do have many officers that work during the shift, so our response time is generally minutes, if not sooner, so we can get there relatively quickly. But like Officer Keith said, camera systems are a good tool as well to deter, and also to, if we do need to follow up for something in the community, that's a great tool for the police to investigate any crimes that may have occurred, or anything that is suspicious. So that's, hopefully that answers your question.
Hey, Scott.
Yes, sir. Commander Garris, is that you?
Yeah, how you doing? I don't know if you can see me in there, but I think that they're referencing is a couple of weeks ago we had a mental subject that was going around to different homes. He's been identified. He's been arrested. He's got some issues, and it was between us and Arlington Heights. He was kind of wandering around, very confused individual, but I don't believe he's still in the area. He may actually be locked up.
Okay.
But I think that's what they're referencing for the people trying to get into homes. It was one guy. We know who he is, and he's been taken into custody. I know.
All right. Yeah, I appreciate the insight on that. So I'm trying to read questions as we go on here. It's a little harder to read, but I believe that's all that we have so far. So if there aren't any more, I believe we're going to wrap this up, and we thank you. This is our winter meeting. We're going to come back in the springtime and have another spring meeting. So stay tuned for that. Based on the world we live in, it might be in person. So if that's the case, I look forward to seeing everyone face to face, which would be a nice change to the way we've been living for the last say 2 years. So we are still out and about. So if you do see the police, please feel free to stop and say hello. We are in beats, like I said, 3164 and 3162, the south side of Mount Prospect, and we'd love to stop and chat with you. So if you do have any questions that come to mind, stop an officer when you see them, either on the street or in the stores or just out and about, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have. So again, thank you for coming out. We appreciate you giving us some time to share some insight into our great community. And until we meet again, have a great holiday season, and we'll see you out and about. Take care.